Bang, Neeves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara's not with us today, and today we are checking out the Jerry Moen Custom Mongoose. This thing is beautiful. This thing is amazing. I'm so happy that my buddy Shakrmt, which is a great guy in this community, was willing to send me this gorgeous, gorgeous knife and allow me to use it, allow me to sharpen it, and I got to do a true review and good and bad video on this. Let's get into the good and bad. I just want to thank Shaker once again. Thank you so much, man. This is a knife that's 8 inches with a 3.5-inch blade. You see it there next to the Spyderco Shaman. You can see my reflection. It's a very reflective Damasteel blade. Yes, this is Damasteel with titanium. Also, let's see it next to the bug out. This is the Benchmade bug out. You can see it's a bit longer than the bug out. And we'll just do one more really quick. Here is the, thought I had it right here, but I guess not. Oh, here. Here's the Steel Will Griffin. About the same length as the Griffin. Very cool knife. And let's just get into this thing. This thing is amazing. I was so excited to get to play with this thing and carry this thing because I seen a review on this thing, and after I seen the review, I was like, man, that knife just looks like my style of knife. I don't know about Damasteel really that much, you know. I do like RWL 34, but this whole shape, the design, everything is just, it's my style. And I gotta say, the Damasteel is beautiful. I do look at knives more as a tool than an art piece, but Shaker uses this thing. So I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome. I mean, he's not scared to use his $800 knife, and I love it. So let's get into the good and bad of this beautiful knife. So it is titanium. I do love the honeycombed texture. You can feel it, and you can see the blue anodizing in between on the lines. The blue anodizing on these flats is very smooth. It's got like a brushed finish to it. And then you see the frosting on the clip that has more of a rougher texture to it. And then you see the jimping on the back spacer, which is lined up perfectly all the way around right there. Very, very nicely. You can see the blue anode hardware, which is T8s. And even the handle is very reflective and very shiny. Everything about this thing is just very shiny and reflective. Now, the jimping on the back, or on the flipper tab, is done really nice. It's got a nice bite to it without being too sharp. And with the shape of the flipper tab, coupled with the jimping, mixed with the detent, this thing is a rocket. It fires out so nice, yet the detent is, how can I explain it? It's not strong. I mean, it is strong. Sorry, it's a strong, crispy detent. Like, you could never get sick of doing that. It would never annoy your finger. It would never get irritating. And then listen to the drop. I love that sound. Now you can push button it, or you can light switch it, but it's more of a push button thing. But the sound of this thing is amazing. The drop on it, now when you drop it, the flipper tab does hit your fingers, literally put right in the perfect place for it to touch your finger, and it's very smooth drop. It's not real drop shutty, but you can slap it shut real easily with a very easy slap. Let's just raise you guys up just a little bit. It's very crispy though. The detent is pretty early. It's right there, very, very early. You can push past it if you want to. I don't think this doesn't have a reverse detent track, so you can slap it shut if you want to, which is sometimes very satisfying. And since it's such a light blade, yeah, that's great action for such a light blade. I mean, this thing has very addictive action. I'm sorry, I need to get past that part. It's very addicting. The fit and finish is done just so well. Everything's just so tight in there. You see the jimping right there. It doesn't have jimping on the spine of the blade, but it does have the jimping right there. And since it has this type of blade shape, you basically get to use this thing like a claw. And which I find that is a great blade shape for EDC, especially when it's hollow ground the way it is. Since it has such a nice hollow ground blade, you can easily slice. You can either easily do push cuts and slice and cut. Plus, you can use the tip, which this has a nice taper from here all the way down. Let me try to see if you guys can see it. See the beautiful taper, and then right there it goes. So like you can feel it actually right here where the hollow ground grind starts, which is, see the line? You see the hollow ground starts right there. You can feel it right there. Well, from there forward, it basically turns into a needle. Super thin. Very thin tip. So it's definitely a fragile tip, but nothing you have to worry about if you're not, trying to cut concrete or anything. I mean, obviously, this is an EDC knife. This is not a pry bar. This is not a hard use knife. This is EDC all the way. And kind of a gentleman knife, something you carry with pride, and when you use it with pride, you're mindful of what you do with it, which is really cool. The lock bar, very easy to get to. I really like this lock bar. It has the jimping, but it's very easy to unlock. Even though it has the jimping and it is saw-like, it doesn't bother you. And it does have great resistance. Like, you can feel that it's a decently strong liner. Yeah, it's very easy to unlock. I really like a lock bar that's easy to unlock, which it is. I really like that. And so easy to get to, too. And you can see it has that frosting on there too. The liners have the frosting all on the inside of there. You see the frosting on the back spacer. The liner has the frosting. It's really cool. There's no milling or anything, so it's got a weight to it that feels good. I like it. I'm so glad they did not weight relieve this, because sometimes with a knife like this, with a knife this size, you want to feel that little bit of weight. You don't want it to be weightless. Then it just feels like a toy that's going to break. This feels nice. Feels good. It's not heavy, but you can feel it, and I like that. I love the hollow ground blade. Damaged steel, it looks beautiful. Especially if you're a real damaged steel fan. Very nice. Alright, now I've been talking about the things I like, but I always come up with some bad things. So, okay, so I did sharpen it, which I could tell it kind of needed a new sharpening. But what I noticed from the sharpening, which this is another reason why I love to sharpen, because then I get to tell a lot of things about the steel. Now, the grind is off slightly from one side to the other, especially right in this area, just barely. I mean, it's so subtle. It's not a big deal. This is a hand ground blade, and that is something that's very consistent with hand ground blades. Hand ground blades just happen to, it's hard to grind a blade from one side and then the other and make it perfect. I mean, it just is. We're not robots, and a robot didn't work on this. It was a human. So doesn't bother me, but it's something to note. So that's one of the bads. Also, the plunge grind could have been brought up just a little bit. You see where the plunge grind is? It literally lands right on the plunge grind. So you'll see when it's sharpened how it goes up. If it'll focus. slightly right there. It goes up just a little bit. I didn't put a mirror finish on here. I kind of thought about it because it's such a nice knife, right? It should have a mirrored edge. But this thing's all a mirror anyway. So I don't know. If he wants a mirrored edge on there, I will absolutely put a mirrored edge. Most people would call the edge I put on here a mirrored edge because it is nice and shiny and it is reflective. I think I put about I don't remember. I think like a 2000 grit finish or something like that, which is, it's still nice and toothy. It's got a nice bite to it, so it's very nice. See if we can focus on my fingertips. You see, if it will. You can see it biting my finger right there. It's got some nice bite to it. And it's still really nice. It's a very nice blade, and there's just a little bit of inconsistencies with one side to the other, which does make for sharpening when you're doing your angle on the edge. It makes it to where one side can be a little more different from the other in certain spots. You know, it's not like it's like just completely different from one side to the other. No, I just seen one little part of the blade, so it's not a big deal, and it looks really nice still. I did change the angle from where it was sharpened. It was laid back a little bit more than what I put on it. Now, if he wants it laid back, I can absolutely lay it back again. It will make it a little bit finer of a cutter, but the edge won't be as strong. And like I said, and if he wants a polished edge on there, I have no problem doing that. Right now, it has a very nice edge, and especially a very nice user edge, because he does use this, which is amazing. It is nice and centered. But the only thing I could come up with for the bad was that. I mean, there's not a lot of bad here. This is about an $800 knife. And do I think it's worth $800? I don't know. I've never spent $800 on a knife. I know I like it a lot. I think it's a beautiful knife. I think it's well done. I think if you are going to spend $800 on a knife, this is a great knife to get. The blade is beautiful. I mean, it's a very good blade for EDC. The ergos are really nice. You do feel the clip a little bit. And the clip does work very well, too. I forgot to say that. There's lots of room. It does get in and out of the pocket very nicely. There's not a lot hanging out. It's very little. But, yeah, just gorgeous all the way around. I really like it. I love the sounds. I love the clicks. I love everything about it. And, yeah, there is the review. Thanks, Shaker.